Do you have a pickaxe set?
No. Do we have a defibrillator on set?
Welcome to the summer edition of DIY Mom. This week I'm working down in the heart of St. Margaret's Bay, where my parents recently purchased a beautiful oceanfront property. For my mom's 65th birthday, she asked for a pair of kayaks so she can explore the ocean and enjoy all the islands nearby. Personally, I thought it would be a really nice touch for me to build her a canoe and kayak rack. That way she could have easy access to her kayaks and storage for them all year round. I was able to pick up all the materials I need to build this canoe rack at Home Hardware. Home Hardware has a range of backyard packages available with all the materials to build and assemble your summer projects. From garage sheds to decks and fences, the plans are free with the purchase of your materials. Because these are not pre-cut kits, cutting and assembly is required. So I've asked Dawn, a local retired cabinet maker, to help me assemble the canoe rack package. While we are sorting through all the lumber and planning the build, my dad is working on clearing and leveling an area close to the beach where the canoe rack can live.
Just trying to clear the brush. I think we have to have about an 8 by 16 space, maybe a little wider, and it's very close to the wharf, so it makes sense to put it here. We've got 9 feet between these trees, so I think what we should do is start about a foot or two past the trees. I think it makes sense, hopefully. When Rebekah gets here, she'll totally change it.
Hey, Dad. Oh, so this is the area here we're thinking about.
Obviously, we're going to have to level it somehow.
Yeah, I think that looks like a good spot because if there is any hurricane or weather coming through, it's not gonna
Yes,
shove it around too much.
it's well protected and it's close to the wharf.
Yeah. After looking over their plans, we're ready to start this build. I don't think there's ever been a more beautiful location for a DIY project. Step 1 of the plans requires us to put the legs of the canoe rack together. In this step, we need to notch out a spot for our canoe braces.
To create a notch in your board, you want to cut 1.5 inches deep into the leg of your canoe rack. Then you run the skill saw across every 1/2 inch. That's going to create enough of a weakness in the board that I can then notch it out with my chisel and hammer. And that's going to fit our 2x6 board in and make it nice and secure so this leg will hold our cross braces for the canoe stand.
While Dawn completes the rest of step 1, I pop over to see how my dad is making out with clearing and leveling the land.
Unfortunately, we have to dig it down about 20 inches in the back corner and build it up a little bit in the front so that it will be level. We could hire a backhoe to come, and it'd be like $400 to dig out this little space, but we thought we'd try to dig it out ourselves. It's probably gonna take 3 or 4 hours. My mom's gonna be back soon, and maybe we could trick her into helping us dig by telling her we think we found some treasure, and she'd be all over helping us. We're not that far from Oak Island, so maybe the treasure drifted up this way. Maybe pirates landed here first. My mom just gets excited about the idea of finding anything exciting. There's a little box under there. Yeah.
A box?
Looks like there's some box or something buried under there.
Okay. You're not going to give me a scare, are you? Wow, treasure. Could be like Oak Island.
That's what I thought.
Could be
Thought
something.
maybe you'll find something fun there.
Wow. Are you sure? It's just a rock.
No, I think it's.
No, it's a rock. That's just a big granite rock.
I don't know, you might have to get it out.
Is this a punk? Come on, are you punking me? You want me to get this? You just want me to dig. Yes, you want me to dig. I'm not going for that one. That's too much work.
Everything is taking a lot longer than I anticipated. My dad is struggling to get the space level, and Dawn and I are moving pretty slow on the build. Tomorrow we'll take the boards that we cut and put them into the notching and create our 2 legs with our shoes that go on the bottom of it, help stand them up. And then once we have both of them put together, we'll create the brace that goes across the middle. I thought we'd be able to build this in a day, but it's going to take like 3 days.
My dad is still working on leveling off the ground where we want to put the canoe racks. He's on day 2 of digging and leveling out the space. But for now, Dawn and I are going over the plans, and we're going to start putting together some of the pieces of lumber that we cut yesterday to create our legs and the shoes for the legs. So hopefully we get further today than we did yesterday. But this is a big project and a lot more complicated than I initially thought it would be.
The next step is getting the shoes attached to the legs of the canoe rack. Once that's done, we can finish cutting all the pieces of wood for the trusses.
After using the big framing nail gun, I think I should be good to go at the rifle range. I won't be afraid of the backfire anymore.
Dawn creates a template from 1 piece of wood that we can follow to make the other 17. We get an assembly line going and manage to cut all the wood fairly quickly. But now we have to put some of the trusses together, which requires a bit of problem solving and teamwork.
Probably another full day of work tomorrow to complete this project. Fingers crossed we can complete it by end of day tomorrow. Well, this isn't working with our generator, so we're gonna have to swap it out or do a lot of hammering by hand, which I'm not really interested in doing this morning. So that's not a good start to day 3 of the canoe rack build. Seems like it always takes us about an hour to get going in the morning.
The fog has rolled in and the compressor keeps blowing a fuse, so day 3 is off to a frustrating start. After a new compressor arrives, we are back in business.
Rock and roll. Or actually, I see the girls on the internet go like this. I don't know what that means. Yeah.
I don't know what that means either.
So we're just grading this area, and there's a lot of roots here, so I'm just trying to get rid of as many roots as possible. Who needs to go to a gym when you can do this? So we're ready. When they're ready, I'll be ready.
I've been learning a lot of great tips and tricks from Dawn, who seems to have one great hack after another.
So in order to make sure that your collar ties are square, a great little tip that you can use is just measure from one corner of your board to the opposite corner. And if the measurements are the exact same on both angles, then you know that you're square. 53.5, and now we switch. 53.5, we know it's square. And then we can secure the collar tie.
Dawn's always thinking a couple steps ahead, so he suggests that we put a couple of temporary guides on the legs for our ridge beams.
So that when we place the ridge beam between the 2 legs, it'll be easier to make sure that they're square and level. So I was at a cottage last weekend, and there was a bunch of old fellas sitting around in a circle jamming, and one of the guys had a song that went, "Ho, ho, home, home improvements." And I recorded a little bit of it because I thought it was so cute. Here, where is it?
I said that's too bad, baby, 'cause you know there's one thing that I love to do.
And I sang along. I don't know if that's gonna work. I'm just dead weight. I was like, I look so good in season 1 because I had a hair and makeup person there. But season 2, I look so tired all the time.
I just want you to know that I did that.
We managed to get our legs for the canoe rack upright, squared, leveled, plumb, and all of the things that we need to make sure that this is a solid structure
with 5 people and 2 measuring tapes. I don't think you need 5 people to do this, but it sure helps when you have your family around. I think the little ditty motivated the troops because now we're finally standing the structure up and moving the project along.
We need to get the joist level pushed up to our brace or wood that's going along the end. So it takes a lot of muscle to do it, or you can just use a clamp. Get it up there.
Once the trusses are secured with screws and nails, we're ready to install the roof and the shingles. Wow, it took 3 days, 5 people, and a lot of sweat to get this labor of love up. But now we have a beautiful, solid project that will last for many years to come. Now all that's left to do is enjoy the rest of the summer on this beautiful property with my parents. Thanks so much for watching DIY Mom, and stay tuned for my next summer project because we're going to be building a floating dock for my parents' wharf. And if you love my DIY projects, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and find me on Instagram at diymom.ca. That way you can see us working behind the scenes and then all the beautiful final looks from my home renovation projects.